Everyone left you a PowerPoint in front of you. So if you want to just go through that.
Ms. Dybel,
Oh, sorry.
the newly appointed Deputy Director of Community Development.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. A lot of comments about that. So the first item we have on the agenda is related to Article 1312, Administrative Appeal. What this is request to initiate a text amendment to change this section. As you can see in your packet, what we would be doing is removing Board of Zoning Appeals and replacing it with Mayor and Council, so that all administrative appeals will now go before Mayor and Council instead of coming to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And the other portion related to this is changing the days. So under 1312.4, letter A, currently, if somebody submits an appeal, we have to hear it within 35 days. We also have to advertise it for 30 days per the state law change last year. So what we're doing is pushing that to 70, which makes it fall in line with what we have in this current sign code, which then any decisions have to be made within 90 days. So, and it gives us enough time to actually have the signs made and advertised for 30 full days without having to feel like we're under pressure. So these are the major changes on this section, changing it from Board of Zoning Appeals to Mayor and Council, and changing the days from 35 to 70, which gives us plenty of time to take care of ads and signage. And staff recommends this being moved forward to the Mayor and Council agenda for initiation.
All right, thank you, Ms. Dybel. Do we have any questions or comments from, yes, Councilmember Beeson?
Likely a dumb question. The name Board of Zoning Appeals inherently says that they hear appeals. With this change, assuming that it passes, what other appeals would BZA hear?
So technically, they wouldn't hear any appeals itself. They would still hear variances. So anyone who comes from any citizen in the city who might want a variance that can't be done administratively would then go to the board. They also hear stream buffer variances and lot width variances. So there's still a number of items that come forward. They just would not hear any appeals. Now, we don't normally get a lot of appeals. This ones going through right now are the first ones in, let's say, quite a few years. So we don't normally get too many staff decisions that are an appeal. I think the last time was a tree, and the tree went to the BZA related to that. So it's been a while.
Understood. That makes sense. Thank you.
All right, yes, Councilmember Hall.
Thank you. It just says anybody unsatisfied with the zoning director decision in Articles 1 through 10. Can you just clarify what Articles 1 through 10 are?
So Article 1 is the main kind of standards for what the code is. Article 2 is the building code types. So building type standards, you're going to have your definitions of density, lot coverage, placement of garages. Articles 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all relate to the dimensional requirements. Article 3 is the residential section. Article 4 is the corridor node. So think commercial, mixed use, neighborhood mixed use. And then Article 5 is your historic district, downtown districts. Article 6 is your office and employment and your industrial area. Article 7 is your conservation and civic zoning section. Article 8 is a little bit of a mix. It's your river corridor overlay and your historic district master plan. Article 9 is your use provisions, and Article 10 is your site development. That includes landscaping, parking, and signage and lighting.
Wow. You win the prize. I didn't expect that answer. Thank you.
You remember our phone number.
All right, any other questions or comments regarding this item? All right, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion. Motion by Councilmember Morthland, second by Councilmember Hills. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All right, passes unanimously. Thank you very much. The next item is listed on the agenda, item number 3, consideration of a text amendment to the Unified Development Code regarding section 10.3.7, application content.
Yes, so this section is part of the sign code. It's the application content section of the code, and this kind of relates to what we've been going through right now. If you take a look at it, number 3 is what we'd be looking to change. And what we're hoping to do is similar to what we have in number 7. So under currently, we'll just go to number 7, it says for wall signs, we require building elevations. So what we're looking to do with number 3, right now, all we do is indicate a survey to scale is required. Most people don't need to submit a survey for a wall sign because it's on a building. So what we're looking to do is to indicate the sign types in this section to say what a survey would be required for. So it would require for all freestanding. So think your ground sign, your subdivision entrance sign, your double post sign, and your single post sign. What we did not include in here are real estate and construction signs because those are just have to be located outside the right of way. And we did not include sidewalks or sandwich signs. So your sidewalk sign is what you see in the historic district for the most part, or somewhere else where people just put the A-frame easel type sign out in front in the morning, and then they take them back inside in the evening after the shop or restaurant is closed. So, but we're going to require a survey for one of those either. But currently, right now, as of April 4th, we're asking for a survey for every type of sign based on what we've been going through. So, but we wanted to clarify that it should be ground sign, freestanding type of signs only for surveys.
Any questions, comments for Ms. Dybel? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion. Motion by Councilmember Morthland, second by Councilmember Beeson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 4, consideration of a resolution for transmittal of the capital improvement element and the community work program. Ms. Dybel.
Yes, so in your PowerPoint, it's just got a couple of pages, but in your packet, you have the entire package, so we can use the entire package. So what this is every year, we are required by the state to submit a capital improvement element and a community work program. In the past, it was called short-term work program. The state changed the name, so we're calling it the community work program to be in line with the state. What this is, the capital improvement element is the CIE list of all projects from transportation, recreation parks, and public safety, that includes police and fire, that are allowed, that we use for the collection of impact fees. So these projects on this list are allowed to use impact fees for any of their projects. If it's on the list and it's approved by mayor and council throughout the year, if you choose to tell transportation to go ahead and work on this sidewalk project, and if it's on the list, they can use the impact fees for whatever percentage they have on there, if there's money in the fund in order to use it. There's also money that's going to come out of general fund or somewhere else, or T-Splost. So the first list is the CIE list. The second list is the community work program list, which is just a list of projects and items that we do on a daily basis that the state looks to see as, are we doing what we indicate what we do? This kind of goes in flow with our comprehensive plan. Some of the items on the list are basically from, let's just use the community work program. I'll just pull one out here. Water line projects. So Public Works does water line projects all the time. They have a distribution replacement program. They update things. So, every so often we have to update our impact fee ordinance. That's on the list. That's just something we do. And these things are in line. So these two items go to the state every year. We transmit, once they're approved for transmittal, they get sent to the state. The state reviews them to take a look and make sure that, we've done them in accordance with their requirements. They send them back to us. We're required to adopt them by October 31st of every year in order to stay as a qualified local government. And that qualified local government gives us the authority to collect impact fees, get funds, grants, loans, a lot of different things that we've used over the years. Our CDBG, a lot of that comes through some of this. So that's what this is. At this point in time, if there's something that's not on the list at this committee meeting or at the time where you want to transmit the item, is the time to add it. Now, the departments have looked at their items. I'm not sure if they spoke to their liaisons about them, but they give me the list. They've gone through it. But if there's something that you see that you want on the capital improvement element list, now's the time to let us know today or on May 13th, hopefully if this gets sent to that date, at that night, because then we can add it to the list before we send it to the state. But the list gets updated every year, so if something's not on the list and you need it on there next year, it just gets updated yearly. So at this point in time, since we're not doing a comprehensive plan this year, these two items go down with a copy of the impact fee fund from 2023. So that's the other document that you see in there. It just indicates what was spent last year on impact fees that they take a look at. And then every year we do this. So this year and then next year, these documents we sent separately. But in 2026, since our comp plan is due at that point in time, it'll go down as part of the comprehensive plan itself. Is that thorough? Did I answer any questions?
Okay.
Or do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Ms. Dybel? Yes, Councilmember Hills.
Thank you, Mr. Knighton. If a project is allocated, excuse me, let's just make up a number, $1 million, and we ask to have that available funding up to 100% of that, and we decide to do that project, do we have to spend that full $1 million, or can we spend a portion of it?
Portion of it? Yes, you don't have to use all 100%. And there may not be enough in the funding. I also left you all a sheet that I got from Finance today that indicates what's currently in the impact fee buckets, what's available and what's encumbered but unspent for the remainder of this fiscal year. So as you know, we collect when new development is built, building permits come through. That's how we collect impact fees. And then they go into the different buckets for the 3 different departments that get to use them, or 4 technically, police and fire.
Yes, Councilmember Hills.
One other thing, if this body would be up for it, I would like to recommend moving the Green Street, this is on page 2 of 5, the Green Street and Cherry Way improvements up to 100%. It's allocated $1.5 million, knowing that we don't have to do that, but looking at current projects. The very bottom of page 2 of 5. It's the last one. It's
Oh, not
packet
in the
page
PowerPoint.
13.
Use your packet.
That's all right. So that's the very last one.
So you're saying instead of 20%, put 100%?
Yeah, and they would just give us some options there if we decided to use that. Thank
All
you.
right. Yes. Yes, Councilmember Johnson.
This would be the time to make that.
Yes. You can do that now or at the May 13th meeting, but today is fine. If you do this evening, then I will update the list before the May 13th submittal so that when you see it in the packet for May 13th, it would say 100%.
Councilmember Hall.
Just a clarification, what is the coding with the blue, red, and
Oh,
green?
sorry. So what we try to do is red means the project's been, we have a couple things that are new. Let me see my type here. Oh, I normally put it on there. So so red means something's being deleted. So let's look at page 1 of 5. You can see at the top, project from transportation, that project's completed. Green means they've kind of updated some numbers, or like 2 intersections, that's being changed. They're changing it to retaining walls. We've tried to update the numbers or update the years. Normally I try to cross out some of the things that you can see where the years change. If a project's still moving forward, sometimes you might start a project, but maybe you don't start the project until the next year. So I get the item from transportation.
Dollar amounts are new.
Yes, the green dollar amounts would be new and updated. Mhm. Transportation used green, I used red when I got theirs and I updated fires and rec and parks for them. So I didn't update transportation's numbers. But, so that's why the colors are a little different.
Councilmember Johnson?
Me and this microphone, I'm just glad I have my microphone tonight, so I appreciate the mayor not being
Exciting
here.
times.
Yeah, I would like to also make traffic calming and pedestrian safety up to 100%. We've recently allowed vertical deflections, but we have no funding for that currently, so.
I got it.
Page 2.
All right. Councilmember Beeson?
There are a couple of transportation projects on here that I don't currently see, but between now and the May meeting, I will connect with Director Littlefield and others to see if there's reasons why they're not included, and if not, if we can include them.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments at this time, understanding that there may be some modifications and or recommendations between now and the May 13th meeting? But any other questions or comments for this evening regarding this item? All right, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to move this forward with the notations that have been referenced earlier.
So motion to move this forward with the 2 adjustments.
All right, motion by Councilmember Morthland, second by Councilmember Hills. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, we'll note under transportation, we do not show any action items for this evening. And under public works, we'll move to public works. Item number 5 is listed on the agenda. Consideration to award a contract to Waste Pro of Georgia Incorporated for the residential curbside recycling and yard waste collection. Director Watson. Councilmember Beeson. Yes.
Real quick, because my firm does work in the solid waste industry, I'm going to go ahead and recuse myself. They are not currently a client. That does not mean they could not later become a client. So just to err on the side of caution, I will be recusing.
All right. Thank you for the notation. Excuse me. Director Watson.
All right, thank you, Mr. Knighton. So the item before you tonight, sorry, that's really loud, is basically a rebid of our residential curbside recycling and yard waste contract. Got a quick presentation. This is not in your packet, but this is just to kind of take you through the process that we went through on the rebid of this contract a little bit easier. So this contract, the current version of it was awarded back in 2019 to Advanced Disposal. Advanced Disposal was purchased 3-4 years ago by Waste Management. So currently our vendor for residential curbside recycling and yard waste is Waste Management. And the current level of service is there is weekly curbside recycling as well as weekly yard waste. Right now, the acceptable items for recycling are glass, aluminum, plastics 1 through 7, paper and mixed paper. When we put out the RFP summary, one of the questions that we got from council when we brought this up a couple months ago is just to look at various levels of service that we might be able to get from vendors. So when we put out the RFP, we asked for a cost proposal on maintaining current level of service, as well as 3 different alternatives. And the 3 alternatives are listed here. Alternative 1 is basically every other week service. We also asked with every other week to look with and without glass. Alternative 2 was to look at our current level of service and just removing glass as something that could be put into the recycling bin. And then alternative 3 was weekly curbside recycling, but only taking the top 5 most valuable recyclables. So we're just trying to look at a varying levels of service that we could get from the outside from our vendors. So we put out the RFP. We received bids from 4 contractors, so we're quite excited about that. We reviewed the submissions for qualifications and for cost, and we equally weighted qualifications and cost because cost is a big driver on this contract. After we reviewed the submissions, we interviewed the top 2 submittals, and with the focus of those interviews being really on customer service and just kind of making sure that they understood the scope of work, understood kind of what Roswell expects out of our vendors. And then we asked for a best and final offer from the top-ranked firm. We received that, and so now we're bringing a recommendation to committee, and then if it passes tonight, we'll be going to the next mayor and council. You have it in your packet, but staff is recommending that Waste Pro was the lowest and best qualified bidder, and we're also recommending that to maintain the current level of service that we are providing the residents. And I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Director Watson. Questions for Director Watson? Yes, Councilmember Johnson. I'm sorry.
You know approximately what percentage increase this is from, our current contract to what this new?
Yeah, it's going to be a roughly 2.5% increase on the contract.
So 2.5% increase in a time when, inflationary pressures are 6, 7, 8%. I think you should be extremely proud.
If I could do backflips right now, I would. Yes.
If I could do a backflip, I would do one too. So, no, you, great job. Thank you, Brian. Great job.
Councilmember Sells.
And one more turn, wasn't the incumbent like a 40% increase?
That is correct. The ranges of the other cost proposals, now cost is only 50%, but the other cost proposals, 2 of them were 40 and 50% over what we're currently paying.
Including the one that serves us now.
That is correct.
Right, so.
And
great job.
I apologize. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge, sorry about that. We do have Nick Pizzello, who's in the audience. I know the cameras can't pick him up, but our solid waste division manager, and had an extremely heavy lift in this project. So kudos to Nick and his team.
All right, good job. Good deal. Good
So-
job. All right, thank you. Councilmember Morthland.
We had talked about this, just the 2 of us before, but can you touch on the fact that we are not going to have to rebuy the trash containers, the curbside containers?
That's correct. So our current contract, the current contract that we have with Advanced Disposal, which was then purchased by Waste Management, there's a clause in there that all the cans that we had to buy, because there was a big effort last time in making sure that we had the right cans for the equipment that we're using. There's a line item in there that says, once we buy the cans, we own the cans. So yes, this is the increase here, which is very, very small. The last time there was a lot of effort that went into it. So we're excited that we don't have to buy new cans.
All right, good information. Thank you. Any further questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to move this item forward. Motion by Councilmember Sells, second by Councilmember Johnson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. And that does successfully conclude the Community Development and Transportation Committee meeting for April 23rd, 2024. I will entertain a motion of adjournment. Motion by Councilmember Morthland, second by Councilmember Johnson. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.